Bear down, Chicago. Are we really going to sit back and watch our pass rush struggle again this season? The silence from the front office regarding the edge position has been absolutely frustrating. And honestly, it's a massive gamble we can't afford. But what if there's still a chance to fix this glaring hole before it's too late? A major name just surfaced as the potential missing piece for our defense, and the debate is heating up fast. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below, should we take the risk on this veteran pass rusher? Let's dive into it. The Chicago Bears' decision to enter the current phase of the offseason without adding a high-impact edge rusher has become the primary topic of conversation among fans and analysts. Despite expectations that the front office would address this glaring need, the team has remained silent, relying instead on the current roster. Head coach Ben Johnson has publicly expressed trust in his coaching staff and the players currently under contract to improve upon a defensive performance that produced the 7th fewest sacks in the entire league during the 2025 season. While the organization maintains this stance, ESPN's Aaron Schatz has proposed a different path, specifically suggesting that Chicago should sign free agent Joey Bosa. Schatz argues that Bosa's profile, characterized by a 12.2% pass rush win rate last season while playing for Buffalo, makes him the most logical candidate for the team. With his extensive history of playing with his hand in the dirt, he aligns well with the 4-3 base defense favored by the team. The current internal strategy leaves the defensive line in a position where the team is betting heavily on the development of Austin Booker, Dayo Odeyingbo, and Shamar Turner. These three players combined for only 5.5 sacks in 2025, with Booker responsible for 4.5 of those. Concerns are further amplified by the injury status of Odeyingbo and Turner, both of whom are returning from significant issues. Relying on unproven depth alongside Montez Sweat, who has recorded only 4 sacks over his last 25 games, represents a high-stakes gamble. The team's reluctance to add a veteran pass rusher stands in direct contrast to the obvious statistical regression that defined the unit last year. For the fans who shout "bear down" every Sunday, this lack of action is an immediate and major point of frustration. The addition of Joey Bosa to the Chicago Bears roster would not come without significant questions, particularly regarding his recent production and physical condition. During the 2025 season with the Buffalo Bills, Bosa recorded 5 sacks and 47 total pressures, ranking 30th among all qualifying edge rushers according to Pro Football Focus. His second-half performance proved particularly underwhelming, as he managed to secure only 1 sack from Week 10 onward. This decline has sparked widespread speculation that the soon-to-be 31-year-old may have hit a physical wall. Why does this matter right now for the team? It matters because the Bears' current defensive rotation lacks a proven veteran presence to complement Montez Sweat. While Bosa carries risks related to his injury history and recent output, he remains a more viable option than continuing to trust in the current, untested rotation. The team's reliance on Austin Booker, who is still developing, and the inconsistent health of other defensive ends creates a vulnerable front seven. By bringing in a veteran like Bosa, the organization would gain an insurance policy. If Montez Sweat were to suffer an injury, the impact on the defense would be catastrophic given the current depth chart. Furthermore, his experience in a 4-3 scheme allows him to step into the system without a steep learning curve. Even with the concerns regarding his 2025 slump, a rotation strategy could be employed. By limiting his snap counts, the team could potentially keep him fresh, maximizing his efficiency, while simultaneously providing mentorship to younger players like Booker. While there are other targets that fans might prefer, such as Von Miller or Josh Sweat, the suggestion of bringing in Bosa provides a concrete solution to an urgent roster deficit. The debate surrounding Joey Bosa highlights the broader struggle of the Chicago Bears to find consistency in their pass rush. The reality is that the defensive front is currently operating at a level that necessitates an external addition. Schatz's analysis points out that Bosa is arguably the best fit among the remaining veteran options, due to his technical fit in a 4-3 defense. His 12.2% pass rush win rate, while not elite compared to top-tier stars, still provides a baseline of production that the current roster depth has failed to consistently achieve. The front office's current reliance on internal improvement seems to ignore the reality of the 2025 statistical drop-off. With the team sitting in a position where they must defend their defensive identity, the argument for adding a veteran with Bosa's specific skill set gains weight. If the team remains inactive, They are effectively asking the same group of players to overcome the same schematic and production limitations that plagued them throughout the previous year. The transition to a new defensive season often requires fresh personnel to establish a new trajectory. By failing to move on an edge rusher, the team risks repeating the same issues in the upcoming games. Bosa, despite his declining sack numbers, offers a veteran presence that understands the rigors of the NFL trenches. His capacity to play in a 4-3 base formation makes him a clean fit for the existing defensive scheme. Whether or not the team chooses to pursue him, the conversation around his potential arrival serves to emphasize how thin the current roster is at the edge position. The choice between standing pat or signing an experienced hand like Bosa will define the defensive capabilities for the remainder of the 2026 offseason. Looking closer at the metrics provided for Joey Bosa, it becomes clear why he remains a subject of intrigue. His 47 pressures in 2025 indicate that he is still capable of generating disruption in the backfield, even if those pressures did not translate into high sack totals. In the current landscape of the NFL, pressure is often viewed as a key indicator of defensive health. For the Chicago Bears, finding a way to increase that pressure rate from the edge is vital for supporting the secondary and preventing explosive plays. If the organization decides to sign him, they would be betting on the idea that a change of scenery and a managed workload could revitalize his efficiency. The alternative is continuing to monitor the progress of players who have yet to establish themselves as reliable starters in the league. This is not about building a championship window overnight. It is about filling a functional hole that could otherwise result in significant defensive failures. The discussion around Bosa is purely about roster management and the necessity of having a balanced rotation. Without him, or another player of his caliber, the defensive end position remains the most obvious weakness on the depth chart. The coaching staff might have confidence in their current guys, but the numbers suggest that the team is currently operating at a deficit of experience and proven output. As the team moves through the offseason, the pressure to make a move will only grow, especially if the current players under contract continue to show the same lack of production that defined their collective effort last year. Every day that passes without a move reinforces the view that the roster is incomplete and in need of veteran reinforcement. The final consideration for the Chicago Bears involves the strategic implementation of a multi-edge rotation. By utilizing Bosa alongside existing players like Austin Booker and Dayo Odeyingbo, the team could create a situation where none of these players are forced to play too many snaps. This strategy would be particularly beneficial for those coming off injuries, as it would reduce the wear and tear on their bodies throughout the season. This type of management is common in well-structured defenses that value freshness and situational play. For Bosa, this would represent a shift from being a primary, high-volume rusher to a rotational piece, which might actually help him perform better given his age and history. The decision to pursue such a move rests entirely with the front office and their assessment of the trade-off between the cost of a veteran contract and the potential improvement in defensive output. While fans are eager to see bigger names or younger stars, Bosa offers a specific technical solution to a 4-3 defensive requirement. His role would be to provide support, act as a safety net for Montez Sweat, and bring a professional standard of play to a room that is currently lacking in veteran depth. While the team has done nothing thus far, the door remains open for a late off-season pivot. Whether the organization recognizes this need and acts upon it remains the central question of the current news cycle. The path forward for the defense is clear, but the implementation of that path remains in doubt. Supporters are watching closely to see if the team will finally address the edge rusher void, or if they will continue to roll the dice on the current, unproven roster composition heading into the season.